I'm going to talk about the background, and then Alex is going to give us what's new and what's upcoming. So items for discussion today, we're going to go over what is search engine optimization for anyone who might not be familiar. And we're also going to talk about why SEO is so important for marketers. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. We're also going to go into, Alex is going to share with us how SEO has changed recently, and as well as covering what Hummingbird's going to do and what's coming down the pipeline from Google in the future. So what is search engine optimization? Search engine optimization, we often refer to it as SEO, is how websites are placed closest to first in the organic or free listings on search engines. What that means is when you type in a search query on Google, it's the order that people are ranked in after the paid advertising. So the marketing implication of that is that those sites that are best search engine optimized rank highest in comparison to their competitors. One of the ways that we've always done this is through keywords. Those are specific words and phrases. In the senior living industry, it would be things like independent living, memory care, retirement community, that users often search for. Your keywords are placed strategically throughout your website, and throughout the website, the content itself should utilize those keywords in a way that is conversational and makes sense to the target audience. Sorry about that. Another way that search engine optimization is done within the website itself is through the use of links. And those links, when put within a website, convey information to search engines about both the page that they exist on, the page that they're linked to, and it also incorporates the keywords that are used inside of that link. There are two types of links that have SEO value. The first is inbound links. This would be a link coming to your website from a site like newlifestyles.com. And an internal link, which is within your website, for example, on the home page, when you're talking about a specific content topic like retirement, it's going to link to other lifestyle-related content within the site. So that's an internal link. Another important aspect of search engine optimization, which we're going to talk about at length later in the presentation, is social media. And in the last few years, social media has really gained momentum and played a crucial role in search engine optimization. For example, a lot of times we're going to see communities sharing an article that's on their blog, on their social media page, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, and coming soon, and very importantly, is Google+. What that does is create a positive inbound link to your website, specifically your blog, from a social media platform like Facebook or Twitter. So each time that post is shared, liked, or commented on, we call that consumer engagement or user interaction. It's gaining popularity from a search engine optimization perspective, and that helps make the content what we call go viral, which is shared on platforms and through users that you don't have a direct connection to or presence on. And also, viral content has a positive impact on search engine optimization, which we'll talk about later. One of the newest waves is structured data. That's a new development that helps search engines, Google, for example, understand the content that you have on your page in a way that makes more sense. What that means is they're going to look at a time and address that you have placed next to an event on your website, not as an actual line of body copy, but rather as an actual event, date, and time. You can see this often if you do a search for a movie theater in your area. It's going to come up underneath the search engine rankings with dates and times and movie titles. That's because of the use of structured data. So why is SEO important? Alex is going to share with us a little bit of information about what makes SEO so useful.
Hi, everybody. I'm still getting some people here that are saying that they can't hear anything, so I'm just going to try to give a quick chat and see if they can't get online real quick. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure everybody can hear. Getting back to this. The virtual marketplace is more or less what search engines offer for us. Everybody out on the internet is part of a marketplace. If you have a website, that is your presence in this marketplace. So websites have, in the past couple of years, obviously, been a huge increase and a huge demand in the marketing field. To find these websites is much like a vendor works with finding websites, finding your brand using search terms. So the search engine kind of acts like a liaison to find exactly what you're looking for. This virtual liaison, the search engine, uses a set of rules to access these different websites and figure out what really pertains to what you're looking for, and we do that through an algorithm. Nobody really knows what Google's algorithm is, or Bing, or Yahoo, or anybody. One thing what they do to help us out with SEO is they kind of convey what the algorithm updates are to let us kind of meet their changes with our websites. And they give them names in which to refer to them by, such as Panda, referring to now as Hummingbird, and which is the main point. So Hummingbird is the new change. That's how it's changed recently. With a rise of structured data in HTML5, things have just gotten more intuitive. There's been more information. So to keep up with this information, Google has made these adjustments in their search algorithm to take advantage of that. One of the algorithmic pieces we've talked about is Penguin, and just recently Penguin 2.1 was released. And the whole point of Penguin is to prevent bad sites from coming up in your searches. So it's a protection measure to make sure that the information you're finding through Google is valid and correct. So people tend to get a little scared whenever a Penguin release comes out because they're worried that their website will be affected and they'll be blacklisted. Pretty much the rule of thumb is if you don't have to worry about Penguin too much. And the other side of Penguin is Panda. Panda looks for valid releases and valid information out there, as well as this is more or less what keeps up with the newer standards. Panda has given us the introduction of structured data and just more or less quality content, finding those practices and techniques. And that brings us to Hummingbird, which is today's newest piece. Very new because it's never Google has never had a piece in their algorithm like this. Very few. I think Bing has tried to tap into social media for brand recognition, but they did it in a very much different way. What Hummingbird does is a couple things. It focuses primarily on brand strength. So that's the real big thing about Hummingbird, especially for you guys. And we're going to get into that a little bit more next. Viral content, we talked a little bit about viral content in social media, as well as long-tail keywords, very much so due to search, voice search. Then we have also the content in order to answer questions, and this is also based on voice search. And then also mobile optimization. We're going to get into how Hummingbird has come to meet mobile optimization. So what will Hummingbird do? Brand strength is definitely one of the biggest pieces. And what it does is they use social media data out there with product reviews and customer information, and they determine what people think of brands and how people interact with brands. And the whole is to get your brand in that conversation, in that mix, and get people talking about you. It's the first time ever that search engine optimization can exist without being directly connected to your website. So that's a huge thing. Also, with this brand strength consideration, Google has Google Plus, which is their social media platform. And they've been doing things over the past couple of years to really promote it. So in that aspect, Hummingbird is also a promotion for Google+, because if you take advantage of Google+, you take greater advantage of the brand strength that you can gain from that using Google Local, user reviews, interaction. All of that relates back to your product, and validating the Google+ page that you can create with your website just connects that power between your brand and your website and your search engine optimization. Viral content for whichever social media it's on, if it's shared from your social media website and it goes viral, if you're just in the mix and some people take your content that you've reshared that's going viral and makes it go even more viral, then it's kind of a way to catch that wave, that niche, and promote your brand through it. They track the amount of comments, interactions, likes, reshares, reposts, retweets, and take that information into context to say that these people really like this kind of information. So what that means for you is generating this content and keeping a social media presence is more necessary now than it's ever been. Being on social media is the new SEO, and using the advertising services that exist in those social media sites is now a way to kind of, in a sense, pay for SEO that couldn't be done before. So we have new tools. Long-tail keywords have come about. I should say that at the same time that long-tail keywords have gotten popular, our typical shorter, vague, more overall encompassing keywords have decreased in popularity because now we're looking at brand and interaction as a basis for search versus keywords so much. These long-tail keywords are important because along with everything else that's been going on in social media, the mobile, everything like that, our mobile devices give us greater emphasis on voice search, and Google's website has incorporated a lot of voice search features, and people are taking advantage of that. So instead of typing in senior living Massachusetts or something like that, people are actually talking to their search engine, asking those questions. Where is the nearest senior living community near me? So the way people are searching is changing, and that's what is encompassing these long-tail keywords. One of the things that Hummingbird also gives us is a really great comparison engine. Now, whenever you search for comparisons, Crest versus Colgate or something like that, the search engine results are now based around this comparison. It says, okay, product 1 versus product 2, brand 1 versus brand 2. And it takes that into context, and the results you get from that are very balanced, unbiased, and leveraged over what you might want to know about how these products compare or these brands compare. It can also be ideas and concepts and philosophies, everything. The comparison engine is wide encompassing. And it's also something that's growing. It's still in an early stage, so Google has mentioned that as it grows, as people use this engine more, it will learn more. So maybe right now when you do Crest versus Colgate, you don't get the results you're really looking for, but in a couple months here, it'll be a much better engine. And we talked about mobile, and that seems to be everybody's discussion these days. According to Google, 50% of all website searches, or all searches, have begun on a mobile device. That doesn't mean that all web searches are coming from a mobile device, but we're seeing that the search is at least starting on a mobile device. It's actually the statistics for mobile usage right now are about 25% of all web traffic on a website is mobile traffic. But in terms of Google, they're interested in that 50% because they're saying that, okay, if people are starting searches from a website on a mobile device, soon they're going to be finishing them. And maybe the reason that 50% website traffic on websites isn't there yet, is only 25%, maybe because the market hasn't come to meet the mobile demand. As we come to meet the mobile demand, and as your competitors come to meet the mobile demand, more and more emphasis is going to be placed on mobile devices. So Hummingbird has kind of begun that process. If you have a mobile site or you're responsive, that's going to make it give you your edge against your competitor. So what does the future hold after all these updates and these changes? It's definitely the first step into more consumer behavior rather than the cold, calculated behavior that we've known Google to have before. Things are really coming around to be from that perspective that if you design for a person and you program for a person, then you get people. Before, we've always had to take two roads, design for the person but program for the computer, and that's becoming less evident now. And that's definitely something to keep in mind. And again, the social media landscape is the reason for that. Social media has given a personal face to data. And though Google still relies on cold data to determine what websites and what information is viable, it's definitely social media determines how humans interact on that, how people associate with it. And that is the new face of search now.
So that's all that we're going to share on our end today. One of the things that I wanted to let everyone know, especially for those people who may have joined a little bit late, this presentation is going to be available and sent out via email to anybody who is interested. Please just let us know, and we'll get that right out to you. And we've set aside about 10 minutes for questions and answers. If there's something specific that you'd like us to go into further detail about, if you have a particular problem that you'd like to talk about, we've unmuted everyone, so you can go ahead and share with us your thoughts. Okay, we have a question from Mark Seiler. He asked, inside the SEO industry, it's common knowledge that HTML5 and Hummingbird are both substantial improvements to semantic search, but isn't this all about guaranteeing more unique and relevant content? Content always rules in the search contest. Some SEOs now say that most Google can ever weigh in a social component is between 9 and 12%, so about 90% is original content. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with that. But it's not all about content and context anymore. Yes, there has been a kind of a refocus on the content that Google looks for. They have changed the way they look at content with Hummingbird. They want to look for information that kind of answers the questions people have, and that information. But I wouldn't say Hummingbird is all about context. Its main focus is definitely about the interaction of people and the interaction of a brand. That's Penguin and Panda are the pieces of the algorithm that have more to do with the content scenario. And actually, the Penguin 2.1 update that has been released was due in part to Hummingbird, because they found that with this new interaction, this new information, the results that were coming up when people were searching for things were not exactly tailored to it. If you were looking for a television show or something like that, you would end up getting results, blogs, or something like that about people making random comments about things that were on television, and it really didn't have to do with your search. So Penguin came back in to look at those user interactions, those user reviews, and kind of rule them out to enhance the actual content of the article itself and refocusing that content. So that's a very good question, and I agree with that statement.
Again, one of the things that we need to keep in mind is with Hummingbird and with the direction and momentum that Google is gathering, the focus is the consumer. It's their experience, it's their conversation. And so while that 90% content, that original content that's on your website, needs to be, of course, keyword rich and well optimized, we have to make sure that we are talking to people in a way that is conversational and informational. So from a marketing perspective, we've got to strike that balance.
Any other questions? Yes, they can. Anything that's considered public. The question here, if anybody can't read that, is can Google and other search engines crawl social? Bing, for instance, has a commitment with Facebook that whenever you search on Bing, if you're signed into your Facebook account, they can tap into you and all your friends and see what they like. So for Bing, Facebook has been a huge component to their search feature. Before Google started Google+, they were tapped into Twitter. And if anybody knows anything about Twitter, all Twitter posts are public. So nothing is behind a wall, therefore they're crawlable by all search engines. So they're taking that information into context when doing these searches. Facebook still has a bit of a behind-the-walls kind of thing, so it's kind of difficult for Google to get there. Bing has that in with Facebook, but Google can still determine the interactivity with Facebook and other social media because of things like add this and share this on blogs and information. They can see that a URL for a page has been shared and what the base interaction is. All right, I got a question here. Isn't social easier to fake? All right, that's what SEOs are saying, why Google is still placing a max weight of 12%. Yes, there is a bit of a way to fake it. You can make fake accounts. You can interact on a fake basis with it. But, again, a lot of that Penguin 2.1 update that just came out was to try to catch that. That update was based on focusing on catching that spam and that fake accounts. With Twitter, it's even easier to make fake accounts and interact falsely. Some services are starting to catch that. Yelp, as a local service, does actually human review of their posts and their reviews, as does Amazon. So if you try to fake it on those services, you're blacklisted without question. So Google does kind of alter their algorithm to meet that standard, to say, okay, these websites do human interaction, they have better reviews, I'm going to weight them higher. So it's not all social media.
We have another question from Aaron. Can you address press releases and how those are being viewed with the new Google update? Well, I think the first thing we need to address is where those press releases are being posted. We strongly recommend that all press releases and news releases are posted within your website itself, again, going back to that 90% content that we were talking about earlier. Additionally, those same posts and press releases should be cross-shared on your social media platforms, taking advantage of the social media interaction that they can glean there. And then in terms of how they're being posted elsewhere on the web, relating back to the brand strength conversation that we had earlier, we want to make sure that we're using consistent content, whether we're placing a press release on our website as a blog or whether we're posting it elsewhere on the internet. We want to talk about our brand the same way, and we want to refer to things consistently. One thing that we've discussed doing another webinar about in the future is online reputation management, which relates to both this question and the prior, in regards to if you're having content like a press release posted on, for example, PR Newswire or other PR online services, and people have the ability then to comment and are making negative comments, how do you manage that process? Because social media is also an avenue that a lot of people have shied away from because of the challenges of online reputation management. That is an increasing concern as we move into this new focus of Google's Hummingbird crawling that content and taking it into consideration as they rank you. So that's an excellent question, and it's something that has a lot to do with online reputation management, which we will be talking about in the future.
And again, with those press releases, we tend to endorse, like she said, sharing them on your website, but typically as a blog, as a syndicated content where it can be put out as an XML feed, where you allow people to comment on it, where you incorporate a service like share this or add this, where it can interact with many people's social media. People can reshare it and send it out there. That interaction is reported back to search engines, and it does look good. Sometimes I think also to come back to Mark Seiler's question where he said social media components are only used between 9 and 12%. I think one of the reasons is also because they can't, it's a loose judgment on the interaction. They can't be specific yet, as specific as they would like to be yet, with how that interaction weighs on the press release or the blog article.
Thank you, Erin. Do we have any more questions? Okay. Well, as I said, anybody who is interested, please just feel free to let us know, and we'll get you out a copy of this PowerPoint. We had considered actually sending it out to everyone who's joined the call today, just for those people who may have joined late. For those people, we'll also be getting them out a copy as well. So, Sue, to answer your question, I think based on how many people who've joined late today, it makes sense to just send it out to our entire list. So everyone who's joined today, who RSVP'd for the event, is going to be getting a copy of this. And we will be doing another webinar in the near future, likely focusing on online reputation management, as I mentioned. So if that's something of interest, please keep an eye on your email. And we want to thank everybody for joining us today, especially those people who've shared with us your questions. We appreciate the interaction, and we look forward to doing this again soon.
Also, we're going to have a follow-up blog. We already have a blog on social media SEO updates, but we're also going to be posting up a blog here, I believe, on Monday about the Hummingbird updates, so just a little bit more about that. We're also recording this audio to include with blog and the PowerPoint, so anybody can come back and review, and I know some people have had audio problems, things cutting in and out. So if you missed some of the beginning parts and you're on now, don't worry, we did record this so you can get that beginning parts.
All right, everybody, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.